We wanted to kind of reimagine the MBA experience to be actually built around leadership development. Rather than having leadership development as this kind of tacked on thing, at a lot of business schools you find that you can have one course or two courses in leadership. We wanted to have an MBA that really encompassed leadership, and that leadership would underpin all the other things that students were learning, be it strategy or financial decision making or human capital management, or whatever it might be. And so when we kind of inverted the model and put leadership at the core, that really became our specialization. And with that, we were able to bring in guest speakers and readings and actually build up a leadership model that actually supported the curricular direction of the school. And I think if you ask our students, the thing that really gets hammered home in 2 years is really who they are as leaders and how they grow as leaders throughout not just the program, but throughout the rest of their lives. It cuts across the whole program. It's not just something you'll do as an elective or as part of your first term experience, which you might see at some business schools. Because we're a distance blended program, you're not just doing these deep kind of team building experiences that you then walk away from, but you actually are getting engaged day to day, week to week in yes, the class content, but then your work context, even your family context and your community context, because we want you to be applying the things that you're learning to whatever's going on a random Monday or Thursday afternoon.
One of the questions that you eventually answer through a program is, who are you? Who do you want to become? And how do you want to grow in your leadership style throughout your lifetime, really? So you come into ALU, and my personal experience has been building really solid foundation for the type of leader I want to be, that I am today. First of all, there's a recognition of who I am today, what I want to be in a few years, and where I'm trying to get to over the long period of time. And so I was pushed to move myself from a place for just being a visionary leader to being one that delivers value. And I had always had the idea of, doing something for courses that I am particularly keen on or very, very interested in, which is gender, women to be specific, and how they operate in the STEM industry. So I decided to run this project called Project 30 for 30, where I worked with different people across different industries to raise money to have 30 girls attend a STEM camp for 2 weeks. When I started out, I thought, can I really do this? And then I had to raise funds for it as well. But August 30th, we ran the program. It was successful. And for the first time, I moved from being a visionary leader to one that delivers value. And for me, that's the biggest takeaway that I have had from Leadership Lab.
When President Kagame was teaching our students, with 2018 students right before graduation, and one of our students stood up and started telling him about the V3 leadership model and said, here's this model that we learned about, and here's what it means. And the student was saying, I think you're a V3 leader, and it's a pleasure to meet somebody in person who I would consider that. It was sort of a surreal moment for me to see that someone's talking about this leadership model to one of the most effective leaders on the continent.
Dr. Deco Mohammed, because she redefined the term courage to me in a very personal way. And beyond just being courageous with all that she's doing in her country and frankly across the world, she's then topping that off with doing it in a way that's visionary, in a way that's sustainable, and in a way that brings real value to her people. And Ibrahim Abuesh, I am a sucker for technology and innovation and ingenuity, and he did that on a level that I had never seen. In reading his story, especially there was this scenario where he was having issues with his people, leaders in his country, and he had to bring them together. But when you're speaking to government, you're speaking to private sectors, and you're bringing everyone together. He did that on a level that I had never experienced. So you find people who are technically sound, and you find people who have great virtue. When you see both in one person, you have to recognize it. And that's what Abraham Abelish had.